got to start recording first. Been doing all this talking, and then I have no audio. So, yes, today it is our District 3 podcast. We have special guests Echo here, Miss Sonia and Miss Troya, and we have Ben and Jocelyn with D3. The councilwoman is out of town last minute for, I'm not sure what for, but something very important, because that is what she does. So we are so thrilled to have back Echo to talk about the state of Echo right now, and just let us know what's happening and how we can support.
Yeah, first off, I want to say thank you. We always have a fun time here, and we love what I would say partnering with individuals that have the same spirit that we do about just taking care of our community. So we'll excuse Councilwoman Parrish-Wright today, only because I know she's doing something very important. We just want to say thank you again for bringing us on and just being a great support to Echo. As I'm laughing here, I want people to understand that, humor is still one of the best forms of healing. And Echo, we are not removed from what is happening, in the state of nonprofits right now.
Right.
Some have been really affected by federal grants. Some just by funding, that is not trickling through the doors. And if I could just really get personal, and if I happen to cry, just know that is my true emotion.
Yeah.
Echo right now, we've been around for over 42 years. Our whole history started around the missing of Ann Gottlieb. And so when we are out in the community, a lot of people remember, that incident with Ann, and really how it impacted not just them as an individual, as a child, but how it had an impact as a whole for the community. And so we've been doing this work for a long time. We've also been doing this work free of cost up until this past year. Just another way for us to generate revenue so that we can be here for a long time. And so we love our partners with our JCPS and our youth serving organizations, and we love that support. But even with that support, we are at the detriment of closing our doors. And for someone who came into this space that has a lot of hope and a lot of belief in our mission and what we do. And I've seen the work that my staff do with the kids, and not just with the kids, but also with the families in this community. It is disheartening. I don't want anyone to think that you have to have large pockets of money to be able to support an organization. And right now we need that support. We need that support. Any amount is going to be, a great amount. What we are seeing is that the severity of the issue is not going away. With technology, we have seen where kids have been impacted by technology that has even resulted into community violence around shooting.
And just to remind our listeners, let us know what Echo does.
Yeah, I sure will. So Echo, our mission is to prevent and reduce the incident and impact of child abuse by providing education, advocacy, and support services to the children and families of Metro Louisville. When I say this, I want everybody to understand we are one of the only in this community that partners with public and private schools and youth serving organizations. And we go into the classroom and we talk to kids about body safety and internet safety. We still have that whole narrative of stranger danger.
Right.
I've been trying to change that narrative for probably about the last 5 years, because we know that the individuals that hurt our kids are not majority strangers. It is someone that our kids know. So 90% of kids that are abused by someone they know and trust. Of that, 30% can tend to be a family member. And I love that I have Miss Jocelyn here because she's within a school system. So I love when we are given this information and it's being able to be backed up by a reputable individual that sees what we are talking about. We have seen increase in cyberbullying, which can result in suicide. We have seen where cyberbullying has been taken to the streets and it has, in committing violence. We have seen the increase of sextortion, so with trafficking and things of that nature. But what we have not seen is an organization that is coming in like us to be able to provide those protective factors for children since stranger danger.
Right.
that has not been in the schools for over 10 years. So we need to be in the schools with these kids to help minimize some of the behaviors that are going on, but we got to start early.
Yeah.
We got to start talking to our kids, and we got to have people that are creating safe spaces for our children to be able to talk to safe adults before they do commit a violent act or, these behaviors that we are seeing and things of that nature. And so, I am really here just really pleading. I am a very introverted crossover extrovert, really pleading from my heart, and, shedding my tears that our community will rally behind our organization and say, yes, my child has experienced being bullied. I didn't know what to do or who to go to. Yes, my kid has seen some pornographic images, or someone was talking to them through the internet. Yes, my kid has been touched on, and we have not prepared our kids of allowing them to know what the rights of their bodies are and things of that nature. So when I talk about violence, the thing that I want people to understand is the first violent act towards a child is abuse. And the first responsibility that we should be doing as public safety is making sure that our kids are safe.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I'm really glad you brought that up, because when I was in school back in, I'm not going to say back when, but I remember there was this, I'll call her seasoned, because we don't use senior. The councilwoman prefers seasoned for adults that are older. But I remember she would just come in, and that's what she would reiterate: stranger danger, right? And it was like just stranger danger, and she just encouraged us kick and scream, and and that was
I remember that too.
That was like the brunt of and there was nobody. Well, I grew up out in Bullitt County, so that's probably a little different. But there was nobody, and I was blessed not to have been abused as a child, but there was nobody telling me, hey, this is what body safety looks like, or this is what could come of that, or even what a trusted adult was. Can you speak more to a trusted adult and a safe adult? Yes,
thank you for that. We do not use the language of trusted adults because, as you just heard me say, that within the statistic, 90% of children that are abused by someone they know and trust. So why would we tell children to go find trusted adults opposed to a safe adult? Trust is, it's hard for kids to embody what trust can mean, because we know that even children that have been abused, even maybe by their parent, they still trust their parents. But kids can actually identify the difference between being safe and unsafe. And so that's why we use safe adults. And safe adults have a responsibility to make sure that you are providing safety for that child, that you are creating an environment where the child feels comfortable coming to you and speaking up and speaking out, making sure that when they do speak up to you, that there's no blame, there's no shame in what the child is disclosing, to you. And your ultimate responsibility is trying to provide that safety. So it can be either taking over the incident, maybe on the internet or in those digital spaces, and blocking. It may even go something as strong as therapeutic services. So that is the biggest difference. And you'll hear my staff, and we're slowly changing that language in our community, but we really want kids to understand what safe adults are. And to your point, we had, Miss Parrish-Wright to come and speak at our breakfast, and the story that she talked about, with her own abuse that was happening. And, I think about all these individuals that are adults that did not have the confidence, or maybe they didn't have the support to be able to speak up and speak out. And now as adults, they may be wrestling with certain things. And those are the individuals that know exactly what it is and how important it is for us to be in the classroom, because we hear it over and over from adults. I wish something like this was in my classroom. I wish something was like this. Well, we are here, but financial support is needed to carry out the mission. And so, I don't want to sound like a broken record.
No, it's important.
But nonprofits, we are here with boots on the ground and really trying to help build a positive community for everyone. And so we must look at what are we doing to protect our children before the guns get in the hands, before they start the fights, and before, they have these, what we have realized is, healthy relationships. Like when I was growing up, and I'm going to date myself now, but on a lot of the shows, you didn't even see the husband and wife sleeping in the same bed. Well, we see all kinds of behaviors, on TV and through movies and things like that. But realize that kids' brains are not fully developed until they're 25, 26. So if we're not talking to them, then they're going to make up their own, reasoning as to what they're doing, why they're doing it, and all the behavior. So, again, we are those individuals. Our organization goes into those classrooms where we can talk to kids one-to-one. And as much as we're sharing with them, we're learning from them as well.
Yeah. And so can you talk a little bit more about the ways that you are present in the schools and how important it is? Because to your earlier point, because it's true that if kids are abused, then that leads to worse outcomes, which could be the violence that we're seeing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't claim to know everything, but I have worked with children for a long time. And again, I love that we have educators in here as well. A lot of times kids are looking for love. They need to be loved on. Yeah. And if we're not giving it, then they're going to go seek it. And so the presence of us coming into the classroom, and we work collaboratively, with the school. We are a guest of the school, so we abide by rules and regulations and things of that nature. But think about this, even with your own parents, remember your favorite aunt or your favorite cousin or something like that, because you felt like I can just be myself. I can just talk about really what's on my chest or what I may have seen. And that was a safe space for you to be able to disclose that. It's not always going to be children's going to say something to their mother or their father. And again, that's why we ask parents to help children to identify at least 2 to 3 safe adults so that, again, we can create that safe space. So when we're going into the classroom, we are already acknowledged that we are the safe adults. That is one of the things that we mentioned in the beginning of our trainings, is that we are the safe adults. We are not here to judge. We are here to protect. We are here to save, provide safety for you. So we do our trainings, and at the end of the trainings, we do have a post survey. And at the end of that survey, we have a little box, and it says, if you do not feel comfortable speaking or saying anything, you can write or draw in this box. And that is where we receive, majority of our disclosures. And last year, and I have Troy here, who's my program specialist. Last year, and I think this is phenomenal as well. When we go into a school, we don't just go into one classroom. Our whole intention is to educate the entire school. I'm going to say that one more time. We educate the entire school, not just one class, so not just the 4th graders or the 2nd graders.
And that means teachers, lunch staff, custodial staff, admin staff, coaches, anybody that's in that building.
Yes. And as far as with the kids, our program is pre-K through 12th. And so we go in and educate the entire student population so that everybody is learning. And it is age appropriate. So the 1st graders, they're learning something, but it builds, on each grade. And so last year, actually, I just did this report. In the last school year, we trained 6 entire schools. So don't tell me we're not doing the work.
And tell me how you did that.
By prayer and faith.
Right.
We were able to do that because, first off, I have a phenomenal staff. A phenomenal staff that comes in every day despite what we are talking about, because, when you're talking about abuse, it is sensitive information. But I always say, just because we're not talking about it does not mean that it's not happening. So
say that again.
Just because we're not talking about it does not mean that it's not happening. And so I grew up in the era where children were to be seen and not heard. I got something to say.
Amen. Amen.
And so we want to make sure that we're creating that space. But my staff is phenomenal. They go in with the same motivation, with the same inspiration that I have, and talk to kids and really connect with children. sometimes we have learned that kids have stated or disclosed information to my staff that the entire school does not even know about. So we got to work collectively together on this. And we have been fortunate in the past to receive funding from some great funders like CoSARE for Kids and the Gaines Foundation. I don't think that we are unique in this space where other nonprofits, we are just really at a critical time in society where we have to rely on the community, the people in our community that believe in what we're doing and say, despite if you did not receive this level of funding, we still got you, because we know the important thing that you do in the community and we know that you need to be here. With technology, this is not going away.
Right. And so let me ask you, for you and your staff to go into a school and do your program, how much does that cost?
You know what? We also are cost efficient, right? Because we're not trying to break the dollar for everybody, because for us, we want to be able to provide the program. But as I mentioned, we have been free at cost for 41 years.
Yeah, so it's free. This programming is free.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
Not anymore. So what we did start doing is that we did start having a fee for cost for our trainings. And that is for us to be able to generate revenue so that I can continue to retain my qualified, very
impeccable
educated staff and things of that nature. So for a school, it costs $400.
Only $400.
That's what we always get, only $400. I see your face too, Jocelyn. But let me just say this. It's not enough. It's not enough. We just started this journey of creating this fee for service. And so we are at risk, as I mentioned, of, closing our doors. Now, the question to be asked is, what does it cost us a month to be able to keep everything going?
Yeah.
And for us, it is right around about $20,000 a month. Now,
that's still not.
We are a very cost efficient organization. Like, we are housed out of Bridges of Hope, neighborhood place off of Algonquin. So we are blessed to be able to be in a shared space. I don't have to worry about overhead cost and things of that nature. The cost is making sure that we have reputable staff to be able to provide the program. And so even $20,000 is not enough. But right now, what we really need to keep our doors open is around about $100,000.
Wow.
And again,
for the rest of the fiscal year, or
at least until the end of the year. Now, we do have some events that are coming up to give people opportunities to be able to, support us. And, as we look to the community, I'm crying out to the people that know about abuse and know the trauma that abuse carries. The individuals that have unfortunately experienced abuse as children, knowing what that dynamic was like for them. So I'm calling on those individuals to provide us hope by providing us with financial support so that no other child has to ever suffer at the hands of abuse, and or be educated about their own rights as well.
Educated about their own rights. That is really powerful stuff. And it is not expensive for the schools to do, but that is so you can stay, because it is so vital, the service. Can you tell us a story or two about, I don't want you to get into somebody's trip, but like the impact that you have seen from a family?
Yeah. I got one specifically, and I'm not going to mention the school,
of course.
But we love JCPS. But we were in, this was an elementary school. It was not myself, but it was my staff. And we were doing our lesson as usual. And, we gave the post survey, and the little girl just said, can I talk to you? And so, being the responsible adults that we are.
The safe
adults. We said, yes, we're going to talk to you. And this child disclosed to us. And again, you had to think that we have this image in our mind of what abused kids look like. Please remove that, because we never know. They can be the best dressed kids, or they can be the kids that, don't have all the luxuries of, clothing and things of that nature. This little girl, we happened to notice that her hygiene was very poor. So when my staff is speaking with her, putting on her active listening ears, because a lot of time as adults, we like to take over children's conversations. And this is something that we teach in our adult trainings, is that this is a time for us to listen. Kids do not disclose information the way that we want it to come out, right? They'll drop nuggets. And that's what I call it, nuggets, because they're going to see how we're going to react. They may share something like, I don't feel comfortable in my home. And you're like, oh, okay, tell me more about that. So they're testing us to see how we're going to react, and if we're going to react appropriately as far as how much they're going to share. Well, this little girl shared with us that her stepbrother was forcing her to touch him and vice versa. No one in the house knew about this. No one in the school knew about this. Now, some individuals in the school had identified the poor hygiene. I think some of her grades were slipping a little bit, but it wasn't until she spoke with one of us, and then we connected, shared with the Frisky at that school what was going on. When I tell you, it was a highlight of our moment that we feel like, again, that we gave a child an opportunity to share what she was feeling, what was going on, and how we can help. And so we immediately created a safety plan. We called the mother. Mother had no idea because it was happening when she was gone. When we explained to the mother what was happening, she was most appreciative of not only the lesson that we was able to share in the classroom that kind of brought this out, for the little girl to disclose to us, but also how we collectively worked together with JCPS and the Family Resource Coordinator to identify that this was happening. And so we did go into a straight safety mode. Mom was able to talk to the individuals within her household, and whatever happened, my staff knew, like, in 2 weeks later, this little girl had a glow on her face. It was like she was like a whole different person. She wasn't coming in embarrassed or the head down or anything, like she smelled great, and she, she started taking pride in her hygiene, and she was just a totally different little girl. These are the things that we do. These are the reasons why our organization needs to remain in this community, but we do need the support of our individuals, of our adults, just to help us, get to that next point. So that's one scenario.
And so just that example is how you were able to stop an active situation of abuse because of what you do.
Absolutely.
You saved a child's life.
Absolutely. We get calls a lot. Matter of fact, I just got a call about a week ago. A mom called and was talking about sextortion. And
now, what is that?
Yeah, let me share that with you. So, again, we're not only just in the community and working within the schools, but myself as executive director, I also try to take leadership in policies and making sure that we are creating policies that are going to be great and safe for kids. And so, with technology, I say that we are the digital immigrants, and that is anybody that is 1973 or, but our kids are digital natives. So they grew up in this digital space. And, I remember in my policy meeting, I said, like, we're seeing more things that are happening in the classroom. And if you want to know about anything that is getting ready to drive the future, ask the teachers, because they see it before anybody. They see the things that are happening. And so we need to listen more closely to them and support them of what they're needing. And so we just started hearing like all this cyberbullying and all the, the unhealthy relationships and all these things. And so, thank goodness we had a legislative, Senator Julie Rocky Adams, who put out Senate Bill 73 around sextortion. And what sextortion is that it is a perpetrator that is manipulating a kid in digital spaces, for exchange of, it could be photos, money, all these types of things. So you may have seen some stories where, a kid may have posted, I'm going to say a semi-nude photo or even a nude photo, which is illegal in Kentucky. And let's say, kids are very trusting and they have thousands of followers, which I'm like, I don't know how that happens. I've lived longer than you all, and y'all got more people than I know. But a lot of times our kids do not know who's behind the screen. And we talk about that in the classroom. You don't never know who that is. Even if it's a picture, you don't know exactly who that is. And sometimes that individual behind that picture is not in your best interest. And so you may post a nude image or a semi-nude image, and then the perpetrator will start to say, I really like that image. Can you send me another one? Will you post another one? Well, as soon as the kid tries to take a stand and say no, that is when the perpetrator starts extorting that child. And it can look like this. If you don't send me more new photos, then I'm going to share this one photo with everybody. And that has happened. If you don't send me more photos, or if you don't send me $300 or $3,000 or whatever the dollar amount is, then I'm going to share these photos. It can also look like self-harm, which again, when we're talking about cyberbullying and sextortion, it can lead into suicide. We have too many kids that we are losing to things that are preventable. Right now in Kentucky, we rank number 4 with having the highest child abuse rates in the nation. Over 15,000 victims here in Louisville alone. One victim is too many for me, but 15,000, and again, that's why I love, having this space to be able to talk about these difficult conversations, but it's happening. But it's also 100% preventable as well. So that's what sextortion is. And now there is a new law that was just signed by Governor Beshear that perpetrators, there's a harsher penalty for perpetrators that are trying to extort our kids through digital platforms.
Okay. And you were saying something about that you teach some of that age appropriate in the classroom.
Absolutely. This term is not new to us at ECHO. We've been talking about sextortion for many years, but sometimes it takes a minute for the law to catch up with what actually is happening, within the city and things of that nature. So again, everything that we talk about with our kids is age appropriate. And then we also have adult trainings that we offer as well. So adults can be able to recognize, react, and report child abuse. And so we do have a new training that is called Sextortion 101.
So how would I get involved in that if I'm not too hot with, social media or these digital spaces, and I may have nieces, nephews, kids, grandkids that I really want to, how would I?
I'm gonna share this space with Troya because she has been so excellent of elevating information into our social media spaces. And so I'm gonna ask her just to share a little bit about where you can find some information and resources.
You can always find information on our social medias. So we're on Facebook, we're Exploited Children's Help Organization, or you can go to our website, echo-ky.org, and that's where you can find where we talk about more programs. You can see videos, or you can see photos of us in action. You can also see where you can request a program, or if you want more information, that has our contact numbers as well as our email.
So we have a lot of great information, tips, hints. If nothing else, on Wednesday, we always put out a guide that is around digital safety, and it can be around apps or around emojis or different types of behavior. So things like the Omegle app and the Monkey app. And if you're kind of like raising your eyebrow right now, then you go onto our Facebook page and, search for some of the information. But reach out to us. We are always open to training anyone that their priority is making sure that kids are safe. And so we work, as I mentioned, with JCPS. We work with youth serving organizations. Today, I just did a training with Family Scholars, so shouting them out. And we're getting ready to do some things with the Boys and Girls Club. And so we work collectively, with youth, with organizations, faith-based organizations. So if it is something where, again, your priority is how can I learn about this? And who's going to train me in this space, along with some other individuals, then call us. And, we are always glad to be able to train any adult about how we can sharpen your skills about keeping kids safe.
Yeah. So if I'm maybe seasoned and I don't know about that Facebook and I don't have one of those Facebooks, I can just call and say, hey, I'd like to join a training.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we would love to do in the future is to generate webinars. So it can be just on a one-on-one basis as an individual, and you would register and we will be able to give that webinar. In the meantime, you can always reach us again on our website, which is ECHO-KY.org, or give us a call, 502-634-6063. We love the work that we do. We love the work that we do.
And it's so necessary.
It's necessary, but we really need the help. And so there are going to be some opportunities for our community to be able to support. You do not have to wait for these 2 days. Let me just be clear. You don't have to wait for the 2 days. But, you know, we have a wonderful thing that's happening here in the community, Gift for Good Louisville, which is a great platform to be able to share all the great work that nonprofits, you know, do here in this community. We also have our next upcoming event, which most people will remember, Bourbon and Bonbons. And so we have pivoted from that because we wanted an event that was more closely aligned with our mission. And so this event is going to be on Thursday, September the 25th from 4 to 8 at Churchill Downs. The ticket price is $100. We have phenomenal auction items. Look, we got a donated GE indoor, what is that, grill? Smoker grill.
I'm gonna have to bid.
We have.
I can only bid $15.
I mean, you know, you might get outbidded, but that's okay. But we have jewelry. We have all kinds of things for everybody. But what I want to share on that event is that we listen to our community. We listen to our donors and our constituents. And so within this training now, it's not going to be a lot of entertainment. I'm going to be the entertainment, because what we're going to do is that we want to provide a snippet of one of our trainings, because we want people to really know the work that we're doing. And so we are the trainers. Like, we are one of our, look, I talk about my staff all the time, and I'm like, they are one of the stellars of training around prevention of child abuse. I train them, but you know, we take it very seriously. And so during this event, it's not just going to be a fundraiser, but it's also going to be a call to action. But you're going to learn something when you walk out of there as well, because I'm going to do a snippet of our Sextortion 101. So people that may have heard about the term, don't know a lot about it, we're going to share, you know, what it is, what happened in legislation. We're going to talk about what are the signs that you need to see. What do you do if you feel that your child is being sextorted? Who do you call? Who do you make that report to?
Now, is that covered under mandatory reporting if someone discloses that?
Is what covered?
Like online sextortion, is that covered under mandatory reporting? So if you got somebody who is young,
yes,
a kid, and says this is happening,
yes, I will go ahead and report it. What I always say is, don't think about if you're wrong, think about what if you're right. And so when we talk about to kids about that funny feeling in your stomach, that's your intuition. So if it's telling you to make a report, make a report. And, you know, once again, Kentucky is a mandatory reporting state.
Can you remind us exactly what that means?
Yes. So as a citizen of Kentucky, we are all mandated reporters, which means that if we see a child that is in danger, suspect they are in danger, we are to make the report to CPS. That is it. We are not the investigators. We are not, you know, the forensic interviewers or anything. We just make the report. And so if you are a citizen of Kentucky, then you are a mandated reporter, which means that we don't just rely on the teachers. We support the teachers. We don't just rely on the doctors. We are all in this together to make sure that our kids in this city is going to be protected.
Amen. I think that's wonderful. And I think that you had a couple other things you were looking to talk about, right?
Yeah, we can talk about several things. You just, you know, even though I'm not a talker, you can see that my passion is, you know, I've worked with kids for a long time, and I love ECHO. I love where it came from, how it started. I still have a very close relationship with the first executive director, and her passion came from that her children actually, unfortunately suffered from abuse. And so she was very motivated of making sure that the systems were working together, but most importantly, that we were keeping our kids, safe. And so I want to be able to continue that legacy. My passion is there. I love working with individuals.
And I can see it.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I went, it was the councilwoman's first year on council, and it was the Pinwheels and Pancakes breakfast. It was the Crown Plaza Hotel, I think, right there by the airport.
Yeah.
And I remember you had that guest speaker from Florida. She was talking about her.
Jennifer Beagle.
Yes, she was talking about her experience and just the amount of love in that room for the ECHO organization. And I could see the passion in you and your entire staff. And I could see it. And I could see, as you were talking about the former executive director and boards and the people that were on the board, it was so apparent to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anybody in the room, which is weird because, when you get in this role, you're like, there's going to be, and I didn't know anybody, but everybody you could see was so committed to the work. And they were so committed. And everybody loves you, obviously, but you could see how committed they were because they've been 20, 30, 40 years in this work.
Yes. I'm not new. I mean, this is not new. Like, I am just trying to walk in the footsteps of other advocates for children. I feel that it's very important for us to continue to talk about children. If we really care about children, then we have to get all the way down to the root cause. And sometimes that root cause is that someone has compromised that child's safety as to why we're seeing these behaviors, these violent acts, whether it is a violent act towards someone else or themselves. And, I don't want that to happen. And for a barrier of money that prohibits us to be able to do the work,
right.
I don't want that to happen.
Right.
I don't want that to happen, and I don't think this community would want that to happen either. And so, again,
because if we're already seeing these high rates of abuse, and then if programming like Echoes was removed,
right,
what would happen?
Well, let's ask Jocelyn what would happen, because she's in the schools.
It's going to rely more on the teachers, and then that takes away from us teaching the lesson or giving them the education that they come to school to get. It's going to be more so of us having to be that number one safe space for these kids.
And sometimes you can't be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what we will see as a society, and I'm not a fortune teller, but we can see things. It's going to get worse.
It is. I agree.
It will get worse. The teachers will not have some of the support that they need and receive from us. We have several teachers that call us and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is what is happening. I don't know what to do with this. We need ECHO. We need ECHO to come in." So
that's on the back end. That is not even considering the front end. Think about all of the people that have to call you or that need your services that you have to connect.
I've had parents call me from Florida. I've had parents right here in our own city that has called. It's like, I don't know what to do. So we are that resource. I say that we are one of the experts in this. We are a very open and welcoming organization that we love to share resources because we know the importance that healthy kids, they provide healthy futures. If we are not tackling some of these things of, number one, safety of a child, I would be angry. I would be mad. And let me say this. These are only the kids that have disclosed. Right? So there's many kids that have been harmed and hurt that have not said anything to anybody because of the lack of belief from an adult or the shame or the embarrassment or whatever that may be. So sometimes on an average, a kid that has been abused, they may not even disclose that information anywhere from 1 to 3 years. So can you imagine carrying that weight as a child and not having anyone that, first off, that believes you or that's going to protect you or that's going to provide any type of wraparound services for you?
Yeah. And talk a little bit more about, so you touch on it a little bit with the scenario with the child from earlier, because it isn't just, okay, you've disclosed, now let's call CPS. But what does that look like for the family? You said a safety plan, and you said the mother was able to talk to people. What does that mean?
Sometimes, even the best parents, things can slide under the radar because the kids, they are smart. They are real smart. But what does that look like? Not one individual can handle everything that is going on, as to why it's important to have allies within this space. I consider you all an ally for ECHO, and, having an avenue to be able to speak and talk about, the severity of the issues, but also providing the hope to parents that may have children that have experienced abuse, providing that hope of what I would say, what I really like to talk with parents about is making sure that we are having open communication. This is a time where we can't silence children because they are being influenced by so many things. Again, here I'm dating myself. But when I was young, like, TV went off at a certain time. I didn't have, cell phones and laptops and all those types of things. So there was a way to restrict the amount of information that was coming to me as a child. If you think about nowadays, children receive so much from so many different directions.
And I will say, I was probably in like 4th grade when I got a cell phone, but it wasn't the cell phone. It was a flip phone.
It was a flip phone.
Right. And like, I didn't have because social media didn't really start popping off till I was in high school.
Right.
But now I have nieces.
Yes.
And my nieces are on TikTok. And they're like 13 years old. And I feel for my sister because I couldn't imagine having a child I couldn't imagine that. Because, they make silly little fit check, haha, and it's cute, but I'm just like, anybody could be on there.
Anybody could be on there. And because you're talking with us and you're a friend of ECHO, you would be designated as that safe adult to be able to talk to your sister and say, hey, you know what? This is what I learned. Yeah. And I know that my nieces are on TikTok, but have we talked to them about the dangers of, if someone tries to reach out to them and asking them to do something that they don't feel comfortable with? Have we talked to them about, not sharing inappropriate information, within the digital space? And I say sometimes it's not the kids, it's the parents, because you all drop things about what I say identifiers like, oh, my kid goes to, XX school. And I say, all you did is drop a nugget for a perpetrator that now that individual, and let me be clear, perpetrators are not just men, also women. What you have done is that you have created an identifiable mark about your child, about where they are, where they go to school. So one of the things that I always look at is at the beginning of the school year. And I know Miss Jocelyn has seen this.
First day of school photos.
First day of school photos. They got the little board in front of them. It's like, hey, I'm going to use my own name. My name is Sonia. I'm going to, kindergarten, and I'm going to Danville Elementary, and my teacher is Miss Jocelyn. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
And then they have they post in the shirts with the school name on
the
school name.
So then you got the logo too. So if there's 2 schools, you know which one it is.
Yes.
So I think that, I love parents being able to celebrate their children. But again, we are in an age right now where you have just dropped a lot of identifiable information about your child in a digital space. And what we say in the classroom is once you let that go, you have no more control over what someone's going to do with that information. And perpetrators, they never focus on just one child. They have many children that they are going to groom, which means trying to build a relationship, trying to gain the trust, trying to, manipulate the situation. And then the conversation can start switching on them instead of, now I know like what age you are, where you go to school, what some of the things you like to do. Now I'm going to say, hey, would you like to do this? Or would you like to do that as a perpetrator? And then it could go into a sextortion, or would you meet me offline? Like, I really would, love to talk to you.
I do have a question, and this might show my ignorance, because I feel like in my previous education, they have said some signs are like if your kid comes home with something new and you don't know where it came from, like new shoe. Is that still relevant information?
It is a warning sign. And warning signs does not mean, this is what I talk about with the adults. Warning signs does not mean that abuse has occurred, but what it does, it gives you an opportunity to create a conversation.
Because
we got to talk to our kids.
Yeah.
We got to figure out where did you get that? Because again, I wasn't allowed to borrow anyone's clothes, and no one could borrow my clothes. Hey. But it is what it is. Whatever you want to do. But if it is something that is unrecognizable, that you know that you haven't bought, a family member hasn't bought, this is a time for conversation. Where did you get that? How did you get that? Where's the money coming from? The other thing that I also want to point out, and Troya probably will talk about a couple of the apps, because like the emojis and things like that, that blows my mind. But some of the apps and even the gaming consoles, remember, they have chat rooms.
Yeah. I was getting ready to figure out the name. Was it Roblox?
Roblox.
They have chat rooms. Now, which one? We're not going to get into what Roblox is, but
Troya, she can take on that one. Yeah.
So Roblox is a popular game. It's mostly a chat room setting, so they're playing in these chat rooms, but people can talk to them, and it's voice chat or they can message chat. And I tell kids,
is this not the Lego one where they?
No, that's Minecraft, and they do the same thing.
They do.
But I tell kids, it's weird if somebody just randomly messaged you on Roblox and say, "Hey, I'll give you 7,000 Robux if you add me on there, and I can help you I can teach you how to play the game better, even too. But you have to add me on Roblox, and if you have Snapchat, you should add me on Snapchat." It's that simple. So I'm telling kids, if that happens, free Roblox. That's not, people don't just give you free stuff just to give you free stuff.
Yeah. And talk about the emojis.
Oh, yes, emojis.
I love Ben's face. It's just like in shock.
Because I'm not like older by any means, but I'm like, I didn't
outdated.
When I'm in these classrooms, I'm Gen Z too, but I'm an older Gen Z.
Right.
So they're teaching me stuff. They're teaching me what clock that T means. I agree with you when they do their hands like this, but emojis they use as communication. So if you see corn, they're mostly talking about adult content or...
I just found out about that on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
We have a whole sheet for you.
But it breaks down, and we post these on our Wake Up Wednesdays. It breaks down what you may see. So if you see they're posting corn all up on their text messages, okay, maybe we need to look and see what's going on. We have also a Wake Up Wednesday where they talk about online slang. So when your kids are talking about Riz, do you know what Riz is? Riz
no, but I've heard the word before. I've heard it.
You'll hear it a lot in these kids. It's more to flirt. They're trying to, I can get the girl, I'm a Riz her up. They're kind of trying to be like the modern Casanova.
Oh my goodness! What? It's okay, Ben. Okay.
You see why we're important?
And just like that, I became very old. I didn't.
And let's not even throw the twist in with AI.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So even if a kid is doing the most innocent thing in these digital spaces, we have people that are not in favor of, safety of children. And so we have seen in news stories where adults have taken images of children and put them on naked bodies, their faces on naked bodies, or let's create avatars and all those types of things. So again, this is the importance of why we're here in this community, what we love to do. We love being able to shock, the adults, but being able to educate the children about the dangers. And again, that's in digital spaces, but also in the personal space. So we talk about, no one should be touching you in bathing suit areas and things of that nature. Some kids may have never heard this conversation ever, but every child has the right to make sure that their body is safe. So around the holidays, I talk about cheers and fears. Like, kids sometimes, you push kids in certain directions towards adults. And if they don't feel comfortable, we tell kids that's okay. We tell adults it's okay. If they don't want to be hugged on and loved on, give them a high five or, some other type of gesture. It doesn't mean a level of disrespect. It just means that they are protecting their own personal space. Or something has happened and we need to make sure that we're creating a space for them to be able to disclose that information.
That's powerful stuff. And I know I'm appreciative of the work that Echo does.
Thank you.
It's not thankless, but as we know, it's challenging.
It is.
It's challenging, and you can't do it for free either.
No.
So, and then there was you said something, footsteps or pathway?
In their shoes.
Yes.
So Bourbon and Bonbons, we have pivoted, and it's a new name. It's called In Their Shoes, Small Souls, Big Impact. And so at this event, Churchill Downs, again, you can go on our website. Tickets are available now. We really want to put adults back in the vision of being a child. And so that's why we called In Their Steps. We want individuals to know that all you have to do is just have a heart for children, and, really be there for them. I advocate for children. It's tough for kids right now.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
It's tough for them. Like I said, all the influences and, what they've been exposed to and, and the ways that they're being exposed and, constantly either it's coming through the phone or it's coming through, the laptop or the TV or something It's tough being a kid, and we need to recognize that. But we also need to make sure that there are organizations like ECHO that can go into the classroom and talk to the kids about, what they feel and making sure that we're providing them with the most positive feedback and suggestions and recommendations, because we want kids to be healthy and happy, because guess what? They grow up to be adults.
And wow. And you would think that would be more understood.
Yeah.
But I thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank your whole staff.
Thank you. We thank you all.
It's so the work is so critical.
Yeah.
And I'm glad y'all are here today. Is there any parting thoughts for us?
Yeah, again, we're fighting for our organization.
Which means you're fighting for our kids.
Which means we're fighting for our kids. Don't let money be a barrier as to why we have to close our doors. And so I'm calling out to those adults that have ever experienced abuse and know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have been the ones that's like, yep, I know exactly what she's talking about. Open up your heart, open up your wallet, and just, share a little bit of your financial gift with ECHO. You're making an investment. And that's what I like to say. I am always open to meet any donor, volunteer, that has a passion like ours. But we want to be around for another 40 years. We want to continue to be able to support our kids, support our adults and parents, support our schools, and support our youth serving organizations. We want to have a healthier, more safe community as well. And we have to start at ground zero, sometimes with our kids, and make sure that we are asking the appropriate questions to them. Has anyone ever compromised your safety?
And that's such a powerful way to phrase it.
Yes. Yeah. So, we're really looking for those individuals and those advocates that can even speak more loudly than I can, because they may have been impacted by that as a child. They, employers, employees, our for-profit businesses, invest into nonprofit sectors. We are here to help minimize the social problems that we are seeing. It affects all of us. We're all in this together. And so if we work together, then we can change it together.
Amen. I couldn't have said it better myself. You were always so eloquent, and the way you get stuff across, you remind me of my boss. Both of y'all just the way y'all speak, it's
passion. It's passion.
Gets it across.
It's passion.
Troya, any final thoughts? Anything you want to share?
I do have one. So people always ask when I'm out in the community, why do you do the work that you do?
And why is that?
What makes ECHO such an important work? For me, I grew up in the JSPS school system. We didn't have this. We had Dare to Care. And the one thing I remember from the Dare to Care is she's going to bring out that German Shepherd.
Oh, she sure was.
I'm not going to get in the van, but I want to see the dog.
That crossed into Bullitt County, too. I remember we were talking about her earlier. She was going to say that. She was going to say, kick them until you see stars, or until they see stars.
See what I'm saying?
And to punch out the headlights.
How you all remember that? Yeah.
But when I really come down to think about it, I did not know a lot of this information until I started ECHO. And I didn't know about mandated reporters. I didn't, and I had experiences as a child to where I had a friend disclose to me, and I didn't know what to do.
Ooh.
So
that's another part you're touching on, like not just for the kid, but the kid that has a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I didn't know what to do in that situation until till now, where I could have got that girl help at that time. So that's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, because it's not just for the kids that have been affected, but it's for the kids that are friends of the people that have been affected.
Yeah.
To be there and to have that community.
Troy, will you share just a little bit about, since we're changing the narrative of stranger danger, just like the 5 safety rules, because I want people to be able to walk away of knowing a little bit about what our premise that we share in the classroom.
Of course. The first safety rule is safety rule number 1, know what's up. Oh, let me do my hand signals too. So we teach the kids.
Ariel will want you to.
To know what's up. Know your personal information and in digital spaces what not to share. So we're not going to talk about where we go to school. We're not going to talk about what teams we play on. We're not going to talk about where I live. My first name and last name. You shouldn't tell this information. But also it means what to do in an emergency. Do you know your mom and dad's phone number? Can you tell their number by heart?
Do you know your address? That's a big one. Kids don't know their addresses.
Safety rule number 2, spotting red flags. Just like what we talked about with the roadblocks. It's weird for somebody to come up to you on an online space and say, hey, I'll give you this amount of money or Robux if you can just add me on Snapchat and then we can play the game on here. That's weird. It also could be, we tell kids, think of it as a stoplight. What does the red mean on a stoplight? It means to stop. But what can happen if we run these red lights? Somebody can get hurt. So knowing the warning signs of when a person is unsafe and not safe. Then we tell them to make a move with safety rule number 3. And I tell them, I don't care how you got to do it. If you got to crab walk, run,
Amen.
jump,
Move.
I don't care what you got to do, but I want you to get away and stay away as safely as you can. Then it goes to safety rule number 4. We want you to talk it up. And they love this one because they get to yell in the classroom. But using a strong or an assertive voice to tell somebody no or ask for help from a safe adult. And then safety rule number 5, no blame, no shame. If something were to happen to you, it's not your fault.
Right.
And I tell the kids, we're in 4th or 5th grade. We're going to make mistakes.
Right.
And we're going to have to deal with certain consequences. But if an adult is hurting you, that's not your fault.
No.
Never feel ashamed to let a safe adult know and never feel blamed. Even if that person says that no one will believe you, you're going to get in trouble. Or I'm going to tell them that you are lying. None of that is true. If you tell a safe adult what's going on, we're going to believe you and we're going to try and get you some help.
Thank you. But I always love it when y'all give those demonstrations. It's so thank you for sharing that. Jocelyn, as an educator or any?
This is my first time hearing about ECHO. And everything that I've heard you talk about, I want to be the JCPS representative to get this information out to see if I can help get this in the schools, because this is needed. I worked at Our Lady of Peace for 7 years, and now I'm in the school system. And so now I'm like, this is a well-needed program.
Thank you.
And everything that I heard, I can do nothing but give my appreciation and thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all. It's been great. We'll have to have you back again.
I got one last question.
What's up?
I was sitting here and I was trying to find ECHO on Facebook or Instagram and I couldn't find it. So could you put that information out there so we can find it on social media?
Yes, on Facebook, we are Exploited Children's Help Organization. And then on Instagram, we are echo.ky.
So glad she didn't ask me that question.
All right. Thank you. Everybody give it up for ECHO.
Thank you.